What's up? Welcome to Renthusiast, my YouTube channel about Porsche ownership. And in today's video, I'm going to take you through my garage, give you guys an update on what cars are in here, why they're in here, what my plans are for the garage. And at the end of this video, for those of you who have been watching at least throughout 2023, I'm going to share with you guys like an update that I think you're going to be shocked by, you're going to be very, very skeptical of, and I'll guarantee you guys are going to give me a lot of grief for it. Sitting over there against that wall is my 1986 Carrera in Meteor Gray metallic. This car found its way to me earlier this year. It was off market. I had no competitive pressure to pick it up. In other words, nobody else was chasing it. I was able to do a pretty exhaustive PPI using my own mechanic. I've always had a special place in my heart for the 86 Carrera. My first G-body was an 86 in Guards Red. Guards was not my favorite. Still maybe isn't on the G-body. It's just too predictable, too expected. However, I did love the car. I spent a lot of time making memories with it. So when this thing came along in this unbelievable color, I was just absolutely thrilled. I think this car for me, it really ticks the box for a G-body, an older air-cooled Porsche, and it's really as far back as I want to go. I've had a 69 hot rod, and that was fun while it lasted, but it was just a little too raw for me. And this car, it gives me that old air-cooled feel, and it goes back about as far as I want to go. I love the flares on the Carreras. I did have a mid-year narrow body 911, and it was a gorgeous car. It was ice cream metallic. It was definitely a great example for what it was. Next, we're gonna move over to this 95 993 in Grand Prix white. I bought this car earlier this year, and I bought it from a friend, and at the time, and this is the odd story on this car, I owned my Polar Silver 993. That too was a 95, and I put about 25,000 miles on that car during my ownership. I think 95 is the year you want. Polar Silver was a gorgeous color. I really enjoyed that car. It was my first air-cooled Porsche. It really turned me on to the whole world of air-cooled. I had kind of hot rodded it, dialed it, personalized it. For a little while I really enjoyed that, and then I started to get into like what I'll call the period correct phase of my Porsche journey, meaning that while it was fun to personalize that car, I was really kind of yearning for a 993 that was closer to stock. A friend of mine owned this car. He shared with me in the spring that he was looking to exit, and because I had seen this car on drives, I just decided that I needed to jump on it, which I did. Car has needed some sorting, which is fine, they all do. I did a couple videos on that. How about I'll put a card at the end of this video to the videos on this 993 that I've done so far. When the car arrived, massively modified. I'll put a couple images and maybe some footage up of what it looked like before. I have since reversed a lot of that. I am running the Cup 2s, which I have grown to love, and frankly, they're such great performers, by the way. I had 18-inch BBS LMs on my old 993. I also ran the MYO2s. If you guys are Porsche geeks out there, you know what I'm talking about. Love these wheels and tires. The car has been stanced. It's got some coilovers on it, but a really, really strong suit of this car is like the condition of the interior. It's like it's brand new. It accomplished exactly what I was hoping to accomplish in a 993, and it's a 95, and by the way, I know some of you guys hate the basket handle. I love it. So I'm just really tickled to have this car too. One thing I want to share with you guys is it had a Carrera decal on the side. That was like the last kind of mod I left on it, but I deleted that a few weeks back, and I'm so glad that I did. That was kind of like the one dubious aspect of the car. Like whenever I looked at it, I just kind of didn't love the lines, and in hindsight, I think it's because the Carrera decal disrupted it. I wasn't a huge fan of Grand Prix white before, but I freaking love it on this 993 now. So I just, to put a bow on the information on this car, I think my affinity for the 993 tells me that I will always have one of these in my garage. That's gonna be the deal. Those are the two air-cooled guys. I feel like having these two here together side by side tick the air-cooled box for me. As you know, my channel really Well, it started with BMW way back in the day, but you know, the main focus has been air-cooled, and I think that reflects my love for these vintage cars. Shifting gears, no pun intended, I have also come to really appreciate the water-cooled stuff. This car is kind of my most recent acquisition. I have done a couple of videos on this. I'll put that playlist at the end of this video, and those videos like include my speccing process. I ordered the car brand new, how I got the allocation, my initial impressions. And so this Carrera T, man, is really kind of this, I mean, in a way, it's a holy grail. I can't believe I own this. Pinch myself. It is gorgeous. It's amazing. I loved it since day one. Car. What I like about having this car right here is it has all the modern amenities. I mean, outside of the fact that I spec the thing. It has all the modern amenities. It allows me to really daily drive the car. So I won't wear it out too much. Again, you know, I did a lot of video. I shouldn't say a lot. There's a lot of information in the videos that I have shot on this car, and I'll link that at the end of this. But needless to say, this Carrera T, if you guys, you know, watch the YouTube videos on the Carrera T, the 992 Carrera T, you need to know that this car lives up to the hype, definitely delivers. There are some downsides to it that I get into in my videos. So anyway, all in, I feel like this ticks the, hey, I want to drive a 911 on a daily basis and I want it to be a little more comfortable than, that's what it does for me. And that's why I think, it's a great choice, and I think that's a keeper too. Next up, this guy, I don't feel like taking it down, but this is a 2016 Boxster Spyder, a 981. And guys, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I've done a couple of videos on this, I think. A future video upcoming is gonna be what I've learned from owning a 981 Spyder for, call it 6 months, 8 months, whatever it is. I feel like this Spyder is one of the most underappreciated Porsches that I'm aware of these days. Now, some of you guys out there are gonna talk about the transactional cars, that's fine. I mean, this thing right here is so good. And what's funny about it is I just don't get a lot of, I mean, not that I need positive support and feedback on my cars, I buy them for my reasons, not anyone else's. But what's interesting to me is my Porsche guys, my Porsche buddies, they ask about, excuse me, they ask about it, they, you know, kind of, they'll give it a nod, they respect it, but nobody gets that stoked about it. And I just think that that's a good thing for us owners, because that'll keep people from chasing them so much. But I'll say this. If you guys haven't, you know, learned much about this car, if you haven't considered picking one up, if you're in that position, I just think you're missing out. So here's the deal. Early in this video, I told you kind of like that I finally reached a point of contentment with my garage. And I really believe that. I'm gonna say something that some of you longtime viewers are gonna be like, yeah, you're full of it. I don't see myself buying or selling any of these cars, I mean, anytime soon. When I think about my garage, I mean, I'll put it this way, guys. I don't even look at the classifieds anymore. When I see Porsche for sale ads, I might look at them and I'm kind of like, interesting. I don't care. I'm not like enticed to buy anything. I feel like I've got all the bases covered. I'll continue to do content on these cars. I mean, of course, I'm gonna give you a long-term review on this Carrera T, and you know, who knows what else will come up on the car. This 993, I wanna give kind of this full review of the Porsche 993. I haven't done that for 4 or 5 years. I reviewed my Polar Silver car when I bought it back in 18, but I want to give viewers kind of a walkthrough review of the 993, the driving characteristics, why I think people love them, all that. There's that. And I also want to do the same thing with this Meteor Gray car. I've not done like kind of a full driving review of a mid-80s Carrera, and so I'm going to do that, but I don't know. This is such a gorgeous car. I mean, all of them, man. I can't believe how lucky I am to own these. A couple other things just for you guys that care. The few and far between of you that care. I've been spending time, since I've kind of locked in my cars, I've been spending time tidying up what I call the toy box, my garage. And so I had the floors done. I think that is just something that if you've got a garage that you hang out in, you got to do that. Got a mini split in here, man. This thing is super effective. Love it. Wall mounted vacuum, new age cabinets, cool little neon signs. And by the way, I get a lot of inquiries about where I got these. It was a company called Brilliant Neon Signs, out of business. I mean, clearly they were ripping off intellectual property. I think it was a Chinese company. Got these tire hangers up here. I don't know. I mean, like many of you out there, I'm a little bit of a parts hoarder. And so, you know, I needed to not have these stacked up in the floor. And so these are like cheap Amazon tire hangers. I was shocked at the quality and they don't look that bad. So if you're looking for those, go on Amazon. This next to last piece is this wash station, which is not that tidy looking now. I got to do a couple things to it to make it look a little better. So that's underway. And then finally, I picked up some really, really cool prints at Rentsport. Happy to answer any questions for you guys about the garage, any of this stuff. These are new age cabinets. I've had those for several years. They're good too. So here are the cards to the videos I promised you. Thanks for watching.